Exactly. So now I'm starting the recording. Yeah, so
Okay.
welcome to Southern Summers and Northern Winters. It's been a while, Mark, since we
It's been
recorded.
about a month at least, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I reckon it was about the 20th of November or something like that. So yeah, so it's definitely been 4 weeks or so since we jumped on to have a chat, which means we should have plenty to talk about, really. But
yeah, well, we can always talk,
shouldn't
you
we?
know.
Well,
yeah, no, it's
true. It never seems to stop us, does it?
No, it does not. It does not. So just because I'm in Denmark for the holidays. Freezing around freezing temperatures, but no snow. And I assume that you will absolutely not have any snow. Where you yeah.
No snow, but not even really any. Not really hot though either. Like, well, it's low 20s most days. There was a day of 37 last weekend, but that's been a bit of an anomaly, I would say, this summer so far. Most days have been, sitting in the low 20s. I actually had tracksuit pants on and a jumper today because there was a cold breeze as well. So, a bit of an abnormal summer here in Australia so far to start proceedings off. But it's been hot in other parts of Australia. It's meant to be, I think, 40 on Christmas Day in Perth, but it's only meant to be low 20s here in Victoria again. So, which suits me. I would much prefer it to be low 20s than high 30s and 40. That's for sure. So,
yeah,
it's all good for me.
Yeah. No, actually, because I'm
not a fan of the too hot weather. Well.
No. Well, just around the holidays here, it would be nice for us here in Scandinavia to have some snow, but yeah, and we're in a cabin with a fireplace and everything. So it's been collecting wood outside in a shed. So that's kind of the Wham! Last Christmas spirit. So you want a bit of snow, but.
Is this the same place you go to in summer?
My mom lives nearby, so she rented this cabin for us for the holidays.
Okay. So it's not the same spot you normally go to every summer, because don't you go to some house or place you normally go each summer in Denmark? Is that correct, or am I wrong?
That's correct. That's at the North Sea coast. That's the Atlantic coast of Denmark.
Yeah. Okay.
So but it would be a little too far just now for the holidays. Yeah. So And speaking of
which, how long are you in Denmark for?
Until the until the second of January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks you're up there.
Yeah. The connection is a little bad. Mark, can you hear me?
I can hear. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your picture is blurry. But it's it's fine. We can chat. No, and we broke new record in terms of driving. The drive from Munich till here was less than 12 hours with breaks. So.
Did you put the foot down or what?
Yeah, not really. It's around 1,100 kilometers, and in Germany you have at times at certain stretches you have free. There's no speed limit, but mostly there is a speed limit, and no, there was just no traffic, and it was just easy, an easy ride. So, because to begin with, we were thinking maybe we should take an overnight stay somewhere in a hotel, but it was just so smooth. So we said, okay, let's just drive through, and So it was.
So, what's the speed limit in Denmark then?
130 kilometers per hour.
In Australia, no such thing. It's basically just 100 nearly all the time. There's a few sections of highway 110, but mostly it's just 100.
Yeah. Okay.
Which seems a little bit slow, but that's life, isn't it? Actually, that brings up a good question. What's the speed limit in town?
50.
50. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's 50 here now too. There's sections where it's 40. Yeah, if you go past a school, it's 40 kilometres, but mostly it's 50 down as well. So, okay, similar. Same, but different.
Yeah, 40.
But it's good then.
There are alleys and pedestrian areas, or areas with a lot of pedestrians where you can only go 30 and then 40. But the general overall speed limit in towns, city limits is 50. Yeah. So and then on country roads, it's 80.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting, because they were wanting to bring that in here on country roads to 80, but it's still 100. Actually, no, they were trying to bring it in on gravel roads, like on unsealed roads, to take it back to 80 kilometres an hour. But a lot of the farmers and such who use these roads mostly kicked up about it. So this only happened last week or the week before, where it got knocked on the head. But the plan was to make it down to 80. Like, the roads in Australia at the moment are terrible. Like in Victoria, where I live, our local government uses like billions of dollars in debt, the Victorian state government, dating back to COVID and other big infrastructure programs that they've overstretched themselves on. So roads seem to be missing out. You can drive on the major highway and there's bloody potholes everywhere on it and things like that. Man. It's really, really bad at the moment. Yeah. So hopefully they will do something about it going forward. So, but yeah, it's not good at all.
But do you actually have real highways like we do in Germany, for instance?
Out where I live, because I live a fair way out of Melbourne, like there's obviously the main highway in Australia, which is Highway 1, which is the Prince's Highway. It's basically at least 2-lane each side, so maybe not 3-lane like in most places in Europe, but it's 2-lane all the way. And the closer you get to Melbourne, when you get to the outskirts of Melbourne, maybe 50 kilometres out from the centre of Melbourne, it becomes 3-lane, and then 4-lane as you get closer to the city, and even 5-lane in certain sections close to the city, 5 lanes on each side. So
wow,
yeah, but it's always definitely at least 2-lane. So on our side anyway. So which is better than what it was. It's 1 lane, but they slowly duplicate 2 lanes on each side. I wouldn't say that's 2 lanes all the way there, because once you get to which is about 220 kilometres out of Melbourne, if you keep following the highway out towards my way, it leads up through sort of along the coast, but not on the coast, into New South Wales, and then up to Sydney. So basically, after where I am, it's pretty much single lane for probably the next, I would think, 400 kilometres, with sections of double where you can overtake, like maybe every 10 kilometres or something like that. They'll have an attacking section. So, but it's definitely not double all the way through. Once you get away from the cities, it becomes a little bit, a little bit less user friendly, I would say, for overtaking.
What about up to Canberra? The capital.
Yeah, if you went from Melbourne and you went up the centre, up the Hume Freeway, it's called, which is the main highway arterial between Melbourne and Sydney. It is definitely double lane, at least. Okay. It could be triple lane some of the way, all the way to Sydney, and then you just turn off it and go to Canberra. I think Canberra's maybe 10 or 15 kilometres off the Hume when you get near Canberra. So and it's definitely 110 all the way along that highway because it's the main trucking route for goods between Melbourne and Sydney. So it's quicker to go that way. Like it's even. I can't really explain. It's a bit hard to explain without a map, but it's even quicker for me to say drive to Melbourne, which is basically would be going backwards and then go up that highway to Sydney than it would be for me to go along the coast road, which seems like it's shorter because it's, I'm closer. I'm going 250k backwards to Melbourne to then go upwards, whereas from here, if I went the other way, I can get on the highway road, on the coast road. But the coast road's a better drive. Like, it's nicer. There's small towns. So it depends what your itinerary is. If you've got time, you definitely go the coast road because there's lots of small towns and places like that you can stop on the way. If you just want to go, then you go to Melbourne and you go up the Hume, and you can probably I don't know, Melbourne to Sydney up the Hume's probably 8 hours, maybe 9 hours. You went to Sydney from here up the coast, that'd be 12 hours probably going this way. So
that's the same as me going from Munich here back to Denmark.
About 1,000 kilometres. Yeah. So, and then if you that would. Selection of drive, really. I think like if you go from Melbourne to say Cairns, it's like 1,060 kilometres. There's probably still another 1,000 kilometres on top of that before top of whatever. So it's it's around 4,500 kilometres, I think, to the top of Australia if you were to go that whole way.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
you nearly drive across Europe for.
That's true.
For that amount of distance. Well, you could, I assume.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing about Australia. It's a continent, right? And so is Europe, but we have many countries. Yeah,
definitely, it's definitely big. Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true.
Yeah.
So what's the reaction of Donald Trump's special envoy to take over Greenland?
Yeah, that's
big news in Denmark?
Huge news in Denmark because they say, that
I would expect it would be.
Yeah, that special envoy, any special envoy in Trump's administration is there to do a job, to do a mission. And and he admitted it yesterday. The new envoy, he said, this is to make sure that Greenland becomes a part of the U.S. No, we're not happy. And the thing about it is, it's very saying because the Greenland, one of the Greenland leading politicians said, this morning, he said, this is so disrespectful. They think that we are just some kind of trading good, that or piece of real estate. There is no respect for the people, for the inhabitants. I mean,
America don't even respect their own people.
No, they don't. And I'm sure if the Greenland population, if they wanted to be a part of the US, I'm absolutely sure that the Danish government would respect that and say, fine. I mean, it's part of the modern democratic process. So that's how it works. But there's no such respect, and I'm sure.
No.
No. So and I'm sure that whatever promises they make, they will not be met. And I'm also sure that because you see the colonies that the U.S. have, American Samoa, places in the Caribbean area. They are almost forgotten. They are there for strategic purposes, and that's it. Nothing else. They don't respect the local population.
Yeah. No. Not at all. Not at all. Let me just put my Wi-Fi on, see if this makes it any better. Sorry, I'm running on 3G. Let me chuck that on. Screen back now. If I can, I don't know. That might have made it better. I'm not quite sure, but
no, that actually improved a lot.
It does actually. The sound's better too. It's not so much of a lag in it. I just noticed I was running on 3G or 4G because I'm sitting in my shed, so it's a little bit. Sometimes the internet doesn't get through the tin all that well unless I'm on Wi-Fi, which I've got a router sort of sitting here in the shed, so that will definitely improve it a little bit.
So you don't have a tinfoil hat; you have a tinfoil shed.
I do. I've got my shed lined with tin on the inside and the outside, so it sort of makes it a bit hard sometimes to get decent Wi-Fi unless I'm where the door is, where it's opened. And if I'm standing there, it's okay. But in here, it's not so okay. Actually, because I'm on my mobile, I can just go and say, hey. So the walls of my shed, as you can see up here, are lined with corrugated iron, so it makes it a little bit hard actually. Oh, look at this! I can show you plenty of things on my record collection. Which record we got here? Bangles,
yeah. Wow,
Bangles. Actually, this is one of my favourites. This one here. This is the Rolling Stones and Muddy Waters live in Chicago in 1981. Actually, this is a really, really ripper album in white vinyl as well. I bought this a number of years ago, and I actually quite like it. They do some really, really good Baby Please Don't Go on it, which Mick Jagger sings with Muddy Waters, is absolutely a fantastic version. The Rolling Stones apparently were doing a concert in Chicago, and they went to this bar where he was playing, and and he called them all up on stage, and they joined. So it's a live album, so they joined him on stage and started singing a heap of Muddy Waters and songs. So it was quite a really good album.
You got a great collection there. Speaking of Rolling Stones, I heard that they're actually now canceling all future touring plans because Keith Richards' arthritis. He can no longer play and commit to a full tour. He's had problems with his hands for years, but they've been somehow able to keep it down, but now he just can't do it anymore. He says this is not what what the audience would be paying for.
No.
So
not at all.
So
I'm surprised he's still alive. He's looked like he's been on the brink of dying for about 20 years, Keith Richards, hasn't he?
Yeah, Did you know that?
I'm sure
did you know that he plays the role of in Pirates of the Caribbean? He plays the father of Jack Sparrow, the Johnny Depp role.
No, I did not know that at all.
It's sort of a cameo, but it's so well casted because I believe they simply just asked him to come to the set, and then they started rolling the cameras. He just came as he was.
Probably wouldn't have needed much makeup. I wouldn't suspect at all. No. Might have just needed a bottle of Caribbean rum, and away he probably went. I would suggest.
This is so hilarious, and it took me a while. Who is? I know that face. Wow, that's Keith Richards.
Oh, yeah, I can actually see that now that you say that. It would definitely suit him for sure. So,
yeah.
So, another Christmas question about Denmark. Like, do shops shut this for Christmas Day and reopen like the day after Christmas, or
No.
what's like the trading period
Yeah,
of?
the thing is, we went from years ago. We would have a very strict policy, very strict rules for this, and then there was a change of government about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
and so they sort of let it all open, and
okay,
the shops can. There's some rules for bigger supermarkets that they need to respect workers' hours and stuff like that.
Definitely.
The smaller shops, though, particularly in the countrysides, and they're free to have, they can open whenever they want, if they can get, staff to man
to work
the shop, to work. And the thing is, many student workers, they're happy to work because it's good pay. There's a minimum pay in Denmark.
You get the overtime or the penalty rates. Yeah,
you get a decent pay if you take these shifts, and so it's not a problem. And so many shops are actually open. Throughout the holidays.
Well, I think here in Australia, it's mainly only Christmas Day where I would say 95% of the places are closed. Pretty much the only places you might find opened here on Christmas Day is like the services, like a service station. You just don't call them that though, do you? What do you call a petrol station, or whatever? Like you'll find a petrol station opened, like especially in Melbourne, like places like 7-Eleven and things like that are probably open. In my town here, being only a small town, I think we have one service station that's sort of a convenience store as well, and it's probably open for 4 hours on Christmas Day from about 10 until 2. But other than that, everything else in my town will be closed Christmas Day, but then the day after Christmas, it's just like a normal day. Everything will be back open because they have big sales on Boxing Day, as we call it here in Australia, which is the 26th. So the big post-Christmas sales start at all the department stores and stuff like that, and people rush out shopping on the day after Christmas because they haven't done enough shopping in the days leading up to Christmas. So,
of course not. No, of course not.
Why not go and do some more shopping on the days after Christmas? Sales really don't stop. Once Black Friday starts, it's just really a sale all the way through to the end of December, really, on on everything,
because,
isn't it?
And because you probably have shops closed on the 1st of January as well, there's going to be a hunger strike, so, you need to go grocery shopping as well.
Yeah, most definitely. You would think that shops shut for a week with the rush that people do. When the shops are shut all the time. I think there's only 3 days in Australia where most shops are shut. Obviously, Christmas Day, Good Friday, at Easter, and Australia, most actually have to close. I think this is actually a law in Australia where they close on Anzac Day, and Anzac Day commemorates when the Australians fought the Turkish in World War I, and a lot of Australians got killed. So it's like a commemorative day. So that day, shops are actually officially not allowed to open until 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the earliest, because they have a lot of services, I guess you would call it. Like most towns in Australia have a cenotaph or a centre, whatever they call, like the little pyramid thing that represents and it has people's names on it who died.
A memorial monument or something.
Yeah. I think we call it a cenotaph or something like that here in Australia. But yeah, that sort of thing. So, and there's always in every town where there's one, there's what they call a dawn service. So as the sun comes up, there's always a service remembering these people there, and there's always a bugle player who plays this famous bugle called The Last Stand, which was apparently played at Gallipoli when like thousands of Australians got killed trying to not invade Turkey, but the British the British were in charge of us, obviously, and they sent lots of Australians and New Zealanders to be slaughtered on the front line while the British stayed on the back line a little bit was was what happened. So, but nevertheless, so they're the only days in Australia where pretty much, everything is closed at this stage. But
what about the 1st of January? Because on New Year's Day, everything is closed here, usually.
No, things will, it's a public holiday, but big shops will be open, shopping centres will be opened, because they will, but small mum and dad shops or small family business and things like that, they'll all be closed, a lot of them, mainly because they can't justify the wages, like you were talking about before. Sometimes, I don't know what the going rate is at a lot of places, but where I work, if I was to work on Christmas Day, which I'm not this year, but that's only because of a roll of a dice, like I have a set roster, and if my work day had fallen on Christmas, well, I would be going to work. So I would get 2.5 times, so my normal pay. So I get about $40 an hour. So as standard, $40 Australian. So on Christmas Day, I'd be making $100 an hour. So it's well worth. So it's well worth going for $100 an hour, and my shift's like 9 hours. So it's a $900.
That's almost like a tech wages, what they get in tech companies, and
so that day's work would be worth around €400 to me for a day.
Of course.
So you go, it's well worth doing if you're rostered on. And for me, it's not an issue because I don't have any little kids anymore. My kids are grown, so it's not such a huge issue. The only issue is Rebecca, my wife's birthday, is on Christmas Day, so that's. But it's not that I choose to do it. I just because I work in the disability field, we're carers, so someone's got to go and look after the person as per usual. So if your day just happens to fall on your rostered days happen to fall on Christmas Day, well then you turn up on Christmas Day.
Of course you do. Yeah, of course. You've got a responsibility there. So
that's it. So, but this year I don't have not Christmas Day or New Year's Day, which, I wouldn't mind working New Year's Day because, like I said, I don't really go out on the tear anymore on New Year's Eve.
No.
Them days are over, so I'd much actually prefer to be working on New Year's Day, but I've got to work New Year's Eve, which incurs no extra money rates. But that's life anyway, isn't it? So what have I been doing since last month, since I spoke to you? I went to Melbourne for a weekend with Rebecca.
How was that?
We didn't do too much. Yeah, it was all right. We just wandered around and had some drinks and ate some food. And the weekend we were there, the Christmas festivities kicked off, so they sort of lit up the city. The famous train station, Flinders Street, was all lit up. Town Hall was lit up. So it was quite nice. And there's a Christmas tree area in Federation Square, which is another big open area in the city. The Yarra. The river had a light show every night as well. So I think actually Melbourne actually embraced it a bit this year. I went there last year at Christmas time, and I didn't think there was much Christmas spirit going on in Melbourne. Last year there wasn't much lights or anything, but this year they've jumped on the bandwagon and kicked some goals with it, I think. So it was quite good. Other than that, we just did some shopping because it was Black Friday weekend, so my wife wanted to go and do some shopping, and not too much. Didn't really go see anything out of the ordinary. Like I said, we just got up and wandered around and poked around some back alleys and shopping centres and stopped and got some drinks and ate some food and as you do, when you don't really have a plan to do anything. And then I went back a week and a half later with my carer's job. We took some guys on a camp to Melbourne for 2 nights and 3 days. So I travelled back to Melbourne again with my other work and did that. And we actually went to the Melbourne Museum, and they had a Star Wars Lego exhibition on, which was amazing. Like had like a Death Star that was probably 3 meters in diameter. Each way around it, and full size. R2D2s and C3POs, and it was full-size Wookiees. Yeah, it was quite good actually. I was pretty impressed with it. It was, yeah, they did a really fantastic job. It would have taken them so long to build them all, but I don't know whether it's going to be permanent or not. It's been ongoing for about 6 months now. This this Star Wars exhibition at the Melbourne Museum. But it's like all things, didn't cost me. Obviously, my boss paid, but it was like, $30 Australian to get in. It was good to see, but I mean, you only really need to be in there for like, probably 30 minutes at the most. Yeah. There's probably like 4 or 5 galleries, and then you're out the door. So you go, well, it was really good. But yeah, it's just one of them things. I guess they've got to charge because so much work goes into the creation of,
course,
all these Lego blocks, and
they don't.
But this is another one there.
I was actually in contact with Lego a couple of years ago because I wanted to build the Dome of Munich in Lego.
Yeah.
And 1 to 100 or something like that size measurements. And they don't offer you any discount on the blocks. You can buy blocks, not in sets. You can buy them. They have an online store. But the cost per block is outrageous. I mean, Legos are expensive, even if you buy larger quantities. I mean, I'm sure if you're an enterprise and you really, if you want to make like a museum or something like that's probably where you can get some discount. But I don't think it's much. I mean, they it's just expensive.
Funnily enough, one of the biggest Lego sellers in Australia, outside of major retail outlets, is actually based in the town I live in. He has a shed, and he's pretty much he drives a Ferrari, so that tells you what sort of money this guy makes out of Lego. And he started selling it probably 20 years ago and importing it, and now his online store is one of the biggest online stores in Australia for selling Lego. He's got one of them garages that's about 15 meters wide by 15 meters long, and things like that, where does all his packing and ordering and shipping it out from there and things like that.
Wow.
It's quite bizarre, but I went to high school with this guy, and now you see him occasionally taking his red Ferrari out for a spin around the streets of Maffra. So he's certainly done a good job. But strange little fact about Maffra. A town of 5,000 people. One of the biggest Lego sellers in Australia. Living here and working out of a couple of massive sheds. Very strange. But I've got like a massive tub of Lego in my shed. Like how you buy plastic containers from the store, and they're probably a metre long, and this one's probably 30 centimetres high. I've got one of them in my shed that I've had since I was a kid, stacked with Lego. No sets. It is all odd bits of pieces. I could probably sell it online for like $400 or $500 or something like that.
Probably,
there's that much Lego in it. And I'd always kept it because I thought my kids might have got into it, but girls generally don't seem to be as Lego fascinated as what boys are.
No,
and I didn't really
even though they did launch a more girly oriented line some years ago. I don't know how it is, but they had other colors. They had more like the purple and pink and. But we got this year. We got from Alex, my wife. We got a large Santa Claus Lego figure. It's probably half a meter in height, and nice. It's a large. Enlarged Lego man with the classic hands and these grips they have for hands and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Do you have to pull that down after Christmas or
no? No,
does it go into your storage shed hole or what?
Yeah, no, that's the thing in my family, Mark. We always keep traces of Christmas year round in the house. Not much, but just in all the rooms, there's at least one Santa Claus always on display.
So this guy will stay built then. I was going to say, because, man, that'd be an issue, pulling him apart and rebuilding him every year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no. We would. He will get on the top shelf in the living room somewhere, in the corner. Just, making sure things are in order year round and that we behave all of that.
Lego is fantastic, isn't it? So this Star Wars exhibition. Actually, I'll send you some photos when I get off and show you some of it. I took a heap of footage. I'll send you some pictures and show you some of them. But that was pretty good. And other than that, once again, we just sort of wandered around Melbourne with the clients and went out for dinner and did a few things. Caught some trains and trams. They like that sort of stuff. And went to the police museum in Melbourne. I didn't even know there was a police museum in Melbourne, so that was a new one for me. It was free. It's a small museum at the major police station in the middle of the city. So went and had a look at that. And it was a couple of days that I spent in another couple of days I spent in the city. So it was okay.
That's cool.
It was the pay was okay for a few days, so that made it all worthwhile in the end. What else have I been up to? So last time I was speaking to you, I was going to go to Japan. I've canned that. I've dropped that on its head for now. It was going to cost me too much. Well, it wasn't going to cost me too much, but I had to look ahead. So I was like, well, if I want to go long-term travel in the middle of 2027, I can only afford to take one holiday between now and then if I'm going to go to Japan, because it would cost me $10,000 or $11,000. So I came to the point where I was like, well, if I go somewhere cheaper, then I can take 2 holidays between now and then for the same price it would have cost me to go to Japan. So I sort of pulled the pin, and I was just online the other morning and I seen a good deal, so I booked a holiday to Phuket in May.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah, and through my phone, and they had flights with Malaysian Airlines and 8 nights accommodation at some resort somewhere for $2,500. So I went, okay, bingo. And then I adjusted the flights to arrive 2 days before we go to this resort. So we're going to Koh Phi Phi, which is an island off Phuket, for 2 days beforehand. Then we're going to this resort for 8 days. And then we're going to this other island called Koh Yao Noi, which is on the other side of Phuket, which is apparently really underdeveloped. There's not as many people there. There's nowhere near as many resorts on there. There's a lot of jungle and secluded beaches and things like that. So we're going to go there and hire some scooters and ride around there for 3 days, and then one night in Patong, which is the main part of Phuket, and then home 2 weeks later. So it's happening in May. So
cool.
So things are on the move. So then that's about the middle of the year. Then there's sort of 12 months till we want to go away. So then we'll probably go somewhere around Christmas time again, and that'll do it. But full steam ahead on my plans for 2027 at this stage. I think that's definitely gonna happen. I'm pretty keen to.
It's sad that Japan is so expensive, even for you guys, because for people here in Europe, that's really, really, an expensive couple of weeks. Just not just the airfare, but also the accommodation and.
Yeah, it's more because I was struggling a lot with the internal transport, the costs of the trains to continue to move around. It might have been cheaper to buy a multi-pass, like a Japan Rail pass, but they were still, if you wanted a 7-day pass, it was still something like $500 or $600 Australian, and that's only if you want to move every day. I sort of had this plan where I wanted to go here, and here, and in the end, it was going to cost. Probably close to 600 or 700 euros or 800 euros just to use the train, back and forth. So I was sort of that sort of threw me off a bit, and I sort of just went, well, yeah, okay, I'll just go somewhere a little bit cheaper, and I'll get to Japan at some stage. But
so will we. But it's I guess it's also a very popular destination at the moment. I mean, every
it is.
People I talk to
I've
here
got to
in
say
Europe,
that
they're all talking about Japan, like being,
they love it, and
yeah, yeah.
it's never really a destination though that I have yearned to go to, and I still don't. Like I want to go there because I haven't been there, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
If you know
yeah,
what
exactly.
I mean. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you've been to Asia a lot, you've seen a lot of temples, you've seen a lot of things like that. Well, I have anyway, and so so I'll definitely go to Japan, but it's not. It's probably like America to me. It's not. Well, I shouldn't say it's like America. It's totally different to America. But I've got no real desire to go to America. But I have a desire to go to Japan. But I don't have that much desire to put everything aside to go and do that when I can take 2 holidays instead of one. So that's sort of where I lie with it at this stage. And I know I've got some good friends that absolutely love it and reckon it's fantastic, and I'm sure it really is. But yeah, I just sort of I put the quantity over the quality possibly to go somewhere twice instead of once, without affecting my budgeting plans to take off full time for 12 months. So I was sort of looking after that and myself. So,
but 12 months without a proper holiday is a really long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. I know. For us, like I've been going overseas 3 or 4 times every year. I'm like, I can't go 12 months without
no.
Without going somewhere. But man, there's some fantastic flight deals out at the moment. Like there's this website in Australia called I Know the Pilot. It's called, and pretty much what it does is, I've probably talked about this before, it finds it scans the internet for the best prices, and generally it's a set date, like it might be 10 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and it gives you specifics on the day you have to leave and the day you have to come back, and this is how much it'll be. And today they had flights to Madrid from Australia with Southern China Airlines, full fare, full baggage, $698 return. Like, I could have. So 300 euros basically to go to Europe and back, like from Australia. Like, it was amazing, but it was about 5 weeks. It seemed like the dates were like, and it was in March, and I can't go away in March if I'm because I'm going to Malaysia in 2 weeks' time. So I can't. I'm sort of living on borrowed time with one of my bosses as it is, because I've pretty much got no holiday pay left. So I'm sort of taking unpaid leave here and there and bits and pieces and things like that. So I sort of can't push the friendship too far. And the more time I take off, the less money I've got to save for this other journey as well. So it all feeds into one that I can't.
So how about your holiday? How do they count that in Australia? Because in Europe, it's the full calendar year. You have like 5 weeks here, and in some company, depending on where you work, you can say, I only had 3 weeks this year. So next year I'm going to have 7 weeks. Some companies are okay with this, but in general you have 5 weeks. Is that reset every 1st of January, or how does it work?
Not in Australia. Not in Australia. So the hours just keep ticking over. You get allocated, a percentage of holiday hours per pay cycle, I guess. So I do about 40 hours in a fortnight in one job, and I get this, for instance, I get for about 4 hours every fortnight added to holiday pay, or 5 hours. It depends. It seems to change, but whichever way it goes. I also work for a company that pays you bonus leave if you work mainly weekends, and I work every second weekend, so I get a 25% bonus leave, it's called, on top of my normal leave, because I work every second Saturday and Sunday as a part of that. So what it does is they just allocate it to you, and you can just keep accruing it. So if you don't take a holiday for 18 months, well, then you've probably got, like you said, like 7 weeks sitting there that you can take whenever you like. Look, a lot of places, when you get up to maybe if you've got about 8 weeks, and you'll get a tap on the shoulder from the company, and they might say, okay, let's, you need to take a couple of them, or a lot of companies will also allow you in Australia, well, I don't know about a lot, but some will allow you to cash your holiday pay in as well, and they'll just pay you for it without actually taking the holiday. So if you just want to say, okay, this pay me out for 4 of them weeks, you can certainly do that at some companies. I can get around it a bit with the company I work for, because I'm permanent part-time and not full-time. Permanent part-time means that, as with this company, you have to do a minimum of 20 hours a fortnight to be permanent part-time. So as long as I've got 20 hours holiday pay, even if I'm taking 40 hours, or something like that, I just need to have at least 20 hours holiday pay to take it. Oh. And then they'll only pay me for 20 that I've got, but I need to physically have 20 holiday hours, because that's the minimum amount you can work as a permanent part-time. So even though my roster's 45 hours, as long as I've got 20, I'll only get paid for the 20, so I won't get paid for the whole holiday I'm away, because I don't have that money built up at this stage. So, but we will. But that's okay. So what I've been doing, because I knew this was going to happen, because I've been holidaying a lot over the last 2 years. Like I've been right on the red line I've been right on the red line for a while here. So each pay, I have a different account where I just chuck $50 in it each fortnight, or $100 if I've got a good pay, and so then to allocate when we go on holidays, because I know my holiday pay won't be what it normally is. So then it just sort of makes up for it, and then it's just like having a full pay, because I put the money aside to make up the shortfall, I guess, is what it'll be. So that's what's happening. So on the 10th of January, we're off to Singapore and Malaysia and Bali, and it's actually a pretty short holiday. It's only, I think I'm only going for maybe 17 days, 18 days. So, but that will be that'll be okay, and
it'll be probably a good time of the year to. I reckon there will be a few Europeans in the area as well, because this is wintertime here, and a lot of people definitely. They actually enjoy going to Asia in January. Yep.
I'll be able to see some leathery skinned Europeans out in the sun.
You definitely will. You definitely will.
Especially the old people, they love it.
Yeah.
They love the sun lounges on the beach in Bali.
Yeah, because they're not dependent on going back for any work, So
that's it.
Yeah. So
no, most definitely.
There's a local crisis in Cambodia and Thailand, at the border.
Going on again at the moment, I think, isn't it?
They sort of they were. Again, Trump was interfering and sort of, as they say here, the angle here in the news cycle is that he sort of forced the peace plan upon them, and they are not happy with it. So, so.
But once again, I think it's a from what I believe, from talking to my brother, he's married to a Thai lady. It's a geopolitical situation about a temple that was once on either the Thai side or the Cambodian side of the border, and when the borders got redrawn, this temple that was important was placed on the other side of the border. Yeah. So the people who want to visit it are either Thais or are either Cambodians and the temple is in Thailand, or they're Thais and the temple is in Cambodia. So where it never used to be, because they were this one people, they were all Khmer, or Khmer as they call them at one stage, before countries became countries and people put lines on the map, and and then things happen. You end up on the wrong side of the political border, and shit hits the fan, doesn't it? So
exactly.
I believe that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's
many wars been fought over a border, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's one of those things that human beings, we just never learn. We just
no.
It's politics change and administrations change. What I think they should do more is respect cultures. Because a culture and tradition is something that it constantly evolves. With
definitely.
With modern society, so it's just something. politics are often something that you force upon people. Of course, politics can be good in many respects to sort of set some rules and guidelines, but if it sometimes it just really becomes politics for politics' sake, and that's just
most definitely.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of coverage in Europe about the shooting in Sydney?
Yes, that was a big thing. I mean, I'm so sorry for the Australians that because, but what I do enjoy seeing, I must say, is the determination with which the Australians want to do something about weapons in general.
Yeah.
In the US, it would just be in the US. It would just have been thoughts and prayers and then life goes on. But that's not the case.
There was a lot of TikToks and Instagram stories like going on about the comparison between Australia and America, and because the same week there was like a shooting, I think, at Brown University in America where a couple of students got killed, and Donald Trump said, "Well, these things happen."
Yeah, exactly.
These things happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
only because the NRA donates so much money to your campaigns, that's the only reason it happens. Like it's crazy, isn't it?
It's all lobbyism. That's all it is. I mean, it's and you just cannot fathom that it is so embedded into the American culture that in many ways that's one of the things that where I'm very reserved to even travel there is they got these constitutional rights, as they always say. Right. But the Constitution was meant to be like a living document. It should evolve with society and times, and they're very reluctant to do even the smallest changes, and certainly not those about weapons that might have made sense like 200 years ago in the wild.
Definitely.
But not now.
Definitely. Like, I think they've just organised, I don't know, they're bringing in a gun buyback here. I think it started this week, whereas if you take your guns in, I think the government pay you some money, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know if you can completely eradicate guns, and it's not necessarily, even with the tightest rules, there's ways around it, because if you're a member of a shooting club or, you're a farmer, you've still got to be able to access weapons for work if you're a farmer or you live, that sort of trade. And if and if shooting's a sport and you're a member of a gun club and things like that and you've got a gun, I mean, it's, I don't really know how you screen that person out, you know what I mean, if they're not really showing any outward signs of being like that. So there's always that chance that these things happen, and you'll never know until they happen, which is
of course not.
What happens all the time, isn't it? So
a true psychopath will be able to fool anyone, so even in the best medical people. So
I find the coverage a little bit, and the coverage is a little bit, here and there. The news get on the bandwagon. Well, why didn't we know? Why didn't we do this? Well, I'm sure the government can't totally monitor 25 million people every single day of the week to see what they're doing. I mean, this guy was on a watch list apparently in 2019 and deemed safe back then. And if he hasn't been brought to attention in the last 6 years, well, why would you expect then that he's that he's going to do something? I mean, apparently they went to the Philippines and trained with ISIS in the Philippines, but still, if you're not watching them, then all it is someone going on holiday to the Philippines, and, the Australian government doesn't know what you're doing in the Philippines or anything like that. So so they sort of jump up and down a little bit on the gut. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Well, you can't do everything. No one can monitor everyone.
And they do monitor people in Europe. They do monitor people going to the obvious ISIS places, but the Philippines, that's a tourist attraction.
Yeah, that's it. So apparently there's an ISIS enclave in the Philippines, because there's certain islands in the Philippines that are controlled by extremists. But if you were just to fly into Manila and then got a boat there to another island and then a boat, no one would know. Like, the best laid plans are all about avoiding people knowing. And if you're smart enough, no one's going to know until you're on the news. Really, that's sort of the way most terrorist attacks happen, isn't it? Like, governments and agencies don't know until it actually happens. And like all things in life, change only seems to come from when something bad happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's the way things are made harder and enforced, isn't it? Like when something bad happens, you learn from it, you make it harder next time, until something else happens. And that's just the way, life sort of goes, I think, in the way of that sort of, that sort of behaviour, or not really that bad, but just all through history, things like that happen. When something happens, a plane crashes, so they make a plane better. A dictator kills a lot of people, well, then they try and stop that. A terrorist does something, so they make it harder for the terrorists. So yeah, it sort of is. It sort of is what it is, I guess, in the end, and Australia will move on. But everyone else moves on until the next time.
I do love the determination, as said, with the difference between Australia and the US. You're actually taking steps to make it harder in Australia, and in Europe, we do have shootings. I mean, it happened in Sweden this year. In Sweden, there was a school shooting, It's sad, and very often I can't remember who the shooter was, what nationality, but very often it's people coming in from different cultures with different traditions, and they just run amok, and they just.
I'm pretty sure these people were Indian descent, but they'd been in Australia. But I didn't watch too much of it, because every time you turned it on, there's 25 channels telling you exactly the same thing, because they all only know as it sort of winds on what gets different. And I assume they were Palestinian. They were supporters of Palestine, obviously, but that doesn't, that's their belief, obviously, but it's
different. It's been but that's one of the things about general traveling, is that's why I like this podcast. I hope we can bring that message forward, is that we the more you travel, the more you get to know different foreign cultures, and the less aggressive you tend to be towards these foreign cultures. So I think it's very important that we keep exploring and visit each other, and
travel certainly doesn't make you ignorant, I guess, to what other places do, whereas I think if you're, I shouldn't say this, because there's a lot of people that don't travel, I guess, and I'm not going to say you're ignorant, but you're not exposed, I guess, to other cultures and customs and things like that. And and I guess in the first place, though, if you do travel, that's a mindset that you're open to anyway. So to experiencing and accepting other people, places, and cultures. Otherwise, you wouldn't travel, I guess, in the first place. So I guess people who don't travel don't have that desire to start. No, I shouldn't go there. I'm sort of pigeonholing here people that don't travel and people that do travel. Not everyone's like that. Some people don't travel because they can't afford to, and things like that.
Yeah, sure. This is a first world problem, I guess, as you say. Because, but again, there are also people who travel a lot, and they only go to resorts or go to very touristy places like Las Vegas or Dubai or something. But if you can, you certainly, we can only encourage people to go, backpacking, see something, see, travel like the locals, see the locals, talk to the locals, and
the issue is if you never talk to anyone from a different culture, you never know. Like I remember sitting in a park in Montmartre when Willow was a baby. We were at this park, and I was sitting next to this Muslim couple, and I've got no issue with Muslims or Jews or Palestinians or, for that matter, anyone. And, we're all me and Rebecca and him and his wife were just continuing on a conversation while our kids played on the swings, and that's life. That's how life should be. Like,
Exactly.
There's no, and Australians as a whole are probably casually racist. And when I say casually, like, I think it's a cultural thing at times, and and I think most Australians have probably been guilty of it. Like, you'll often, if you're in Bali, I often I've often heard, when people have said, you come to Indonesia, I'm like, yeah, and they're like, well, you only come to Bali? And I'm like, no, I've been to like Java, I've been to Main Island, and they'd be like, that's interesting, because Australians don't like the Muslim. Like, I've had that a couple of times, you know, and things like that. Like, and you go, well, I've met a few, and they're fine to me until they've,
No, but it's the same. It's the same in many places in Europe. If you go in the countrysides, but I guess it's mostly areas where you haven't been exposed to many foreign people.
Yeah.
So when you go to the big cities, usually there's a tolerance. We can live side by side with no problems.
And you know what? I think our governments are as much to fault in this scenario, especially with maybe Muslims and other people, because we have this immigration, and I don't know if it's the same in Germany, but in Australia. So we'll let 10,000 Sudanese people into Australia, but then we'll put them all in the one area in each city, so they'll all be lumped together. Then we won't do anything to help them get a job or assimilate, and we'll just leave them there, and then we wonder why possibly the hatred or festers in amongst these.
The sound is off. Can you hear me?
You still there? Yeah, I can hear you. Nope. Hang on. What about now? You still there?
Hello?
No? I can hear you, but I hear you. But you don't hear me. All right, hang on. I get a pen out.
I will finish up, yeah.
We talk next week.
So, we seem to have lost the sound of Mark here. So, I can't hear him anyways. So you've been listening to Southern Summers and Northern Winters.
We talk next week.
And we will talk next week, Mark. Mark is holding up the signs. Yes. Okay. So have a Merry Christmas, and we will have another episode next week. Thank you very much.
No worries.